Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome. I'm so glad to have you. So as you can see from the title, we are doing another build video. This time we are building what I'm tentatively calling my frat house. I don't know how much it will literally look like a frat house, but that's what I'm calling it because this is going in my Total Drama Island save, and this is going to be the house that I'm building for Owen, DJ, Trent, Tyler, and Justin. And so, even if it doesn't end up looking like a frat house, the energy in the house is going to be very frat. You know what I mean? Um, the style is actually going to be more similar, at least externally, to the house that I built for Heather, Lindsay, and Beth. So it's going to be very southwestern inspired, very modern, that kind of feel. Again, as far as the exterior goes, I do have one reference photo for the exterior. I don't have any references for the interior. So I'm just sort of going to take that vibe from the exterior and try to carry it inside. But that doesn't really matter because today I only have a shell. This shell took me so long. So my game is still being very temperamental, and I don't know if it's my game or if it's my computer or what. But basically, any clicking and dragging rather, is extremely glitchy. So I can click on something and try to drag it and it doesn't drag. And that obviously does not work very well for building. I did edit out all of the little hiccups that I had while I was building. But this shell took me nearly 2 hours purely because I was fighting with the game to get it to cooperate with me. And so that's basically why I only have walls. I do have my reference floor plan off to the side for each story, and I just sort of switch back and forth between the ground floor and the upper floor this whole time that I'm building, just sort of adjusting as I go. Most of this build experience, I mean, other than fighting with the game to get it to cooperate, was spent with me adjusting walls, basically scooting walls to be slightly smaller, and shrinking rooms just over and over and over again, because I started out with the rooms being way too big. I don't know why I made them so massive, other than I figured it was all right, well, if I just make them really big, I can just shrink them and it'll be fine. Because, that's kind of what I do when I, remodel EA builds, is just shrink them, because the rooms are always so just obnoxiously huge for no reason. And so I was kind of going to take that same strat that I do with those and use that here. But it ended up being more time consuming than it probably would have been if I hadn't done that. So I don't know if that was beneficial or not for me. But it's fine. Most of this video you'll see is just me scooting walls 2 tiles to the left and then 2 tiles back and then 2 tiles to the right, that sort of thing. It is a lot of push and pull. I'm sure there are some instances where I undo something just to redo it again later, but I promise it's because it's smaller. I'm shrinking it the whole time. And you'll see this later, but the front room on the ground floor has a very distinct shape. It's not a perfect rectangle or a perfect square. And I ended up shrinking it by accident to the point that it didn't have that shape anymore. But I've already gone back and fixed it. I was tooling around in the game today because the gallery is finally working for me again. So I was able to re-upload my Seinfeld Sims. So if you didn't get a chance to download those and you want them, you can totally download them now. They're where they're supposed to be. And I also was able to upload the suburban house that I made for Gwen, Bridget, Izzy, Jeff, and Lashana. Sorry, I'm totally spacing. There's so many characters. But I was able to upload that house, so I was in the game already. And I had been editing this video and I noticed that I totally messed up the shape of that room. And so I went and fixed it. Oh, and you'll also see a lot of my time was spent adjusting so that each of these rooms had ceilings and floors for some reason. And I couldn't figure out why. Some of the rooms were just not rooming, you know what I mean? So like usually when you enclose a space in your build, it like registers as a room. It does the thing that it just did where it closes itself in and it has a ceiling and everything. And for some reason, it just, a lot of the rooms were not doing that, and I could not figure out why. And the only way that I could think to fix it was to take some of the walls of the rooms that were enclosed and just dragging them to expand them to rooms that weren't. And that did work, and eventually I was able to get the entire house enclosed. But I did have to redo a lot of my walls, basically my internal walls, because when I did that I messed up my floor plan. So I do apologize if this video feels redundant visually. But I was doing my best, okay? I don't know what is wrong with my game. I don't know if it's my computer. I have no idea. I need to figure it out. But I have kind of a lot going on at the moment, and so I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. And I don't mean a lot, like, it's nothing bad. I'm just busy, you know? My brother-in-law is graduating college next week, and there's, like, a lot of stuff that I need to take care of before I go out of town to his graduation ceremony. And so, you know, I'm dealing with that, and my best friend is moving in with us later this year. And so I've been spending a lot of time, like, prepping the space for him. And that has been very time consuming as well. And so I just haven't really had the like mental wherewithal to sit at my computer and troubleshoot, because I don't actually know if this is like an ADHD thing or like an autism thing. It feels like an autism thing, but when I get frustrated, I get really frustrated. And I just don't have it in me to like tackle a task that I know is going to be frustrating and that I'm going to spend a lot of time like seething and trying not to cry over. So, you know, eventually I'll fix it whenever it is that I have it in me to do so. Obviously, I'm sure it'll get to a point where it's more annoying for me to ignore it than it is for me to just figure it out. And so, you know, that might be my breaking point is when I'm trying to like record a build or edit or something, and the click and drag thing just gets to a point where I can't take it anymore, and then it's easier for me to seethe about fixing it than it is for me to seethe about it bothering me. So, you know, whichever happens first, I guess. I have time and energy to fix it, or I just get so annoyed that I don't really have a choice but to fix it. You know. Oh, and on the first floor of this build, in the reference photo, it's supposed to be a garage, but obviously we don't have cars in The Sims. I don't like including garages in my Sims 4 builds because we don't have cars. And so I usually turn them into other spaces. I turn them into like rec rooms or laundry rooms or something like that. This one is so big, I think it's supposed to be like a 2-car garage in the actual floor plan. But since we can't have cars, I'm going to turn this one into a sort of covered patio situation. And I'm not really sure what that's necessarily going to look like since it is in the front yard and not the back, but I figure that's probably a better use of this space than trying to enclose it and turn it into some sort of room, just because, well, there are already an awful lot of spaces in this house. There is going to be a total of 5 bedrooms, I believe, one for each guy. I can't remember off the top of my head if I was going to turn that front room into a bedroom or an office. Either way, there's like multiple living rooms, there's a media room on the upstairs, and so it's like, well, I don't really need a rec room or anything like that. My girlfriend did suggest that, but I was like, no, you are severely underestimating how actually like massive this house is. They have plenty of living spaces. They really don't need any more. And I feel like an outdoor living space fits the vibe that I'm trying to go for. Also, like I said, with that sort of like modern Southwestern vibe, it'll make sense to have a sort of outdoor living room, I guess. And yeah, we'll see how it turns out. We'll see how I feel. But that's my plan, at least for the moment. And I'm also placing some placeholder furniture while I was doing this build. Not a ton, just because I spent so long on this that I didn't really have the time. And by the end, after I had recorded for, like I said, nearly 2 hours, I just like didn't have it in me to place any more of the placeholder furniture, and I had a ton of walls that I still needed to readjust. And so I just basically did like the bathrooms and most of the doors. And I do feel like I need to readjust some more doors. Like I said, I was in the game earlier and I was looking at it, and I can like picture the one of the upstairs bedrooms. I'm pretty sure I messed up the door and I need to fix it, but it's fine. It'll all come together in the end. But yeah, the bathrooms were the ones that I started with just because basically everything that you put in a bathroom in The Sims is going to be 1x1 tile or 2x1 tiles. And so it's very easy to place that item and then be able to adjust the size of the room to that item because it's like, well, they are all basically the same size. And so that's where I started. And I also did the kitchen as well, kind of for the same reason. Everything in the kitchen is 1x1 tile. And I'm sure I'll end up readjusting the kitchen again at some point because I did place a island in the center of the kitchen that has like a bar counter on one end, but I didn't put any stools. And I'm like kind of worried I made it too cramped and there's not going to be enough room. But at the same time, it's like, well, I was worried I was going to make it too small and ended up making it absolutely massive in the first place. So, it's probably fine. I'm probably worried and like overcompensating by making everything absolutely huge. As far as the archways go, I honestly might keep these ones that I placed from, I think those came with, oh, not Parenthood. What's it called? Growing Together. But I'm not sure. It's like the style isn't exactly what I was picturing for this house, but the size, the like width is the closest that I feel like I'm gonna get as far as like the actual floor plan of the house goes. But I could probably do a smaller one and it wouldn't make that much of a difference. I'm not sure. We'll see. Again, I'm not entirely sure what my like plan is for the style on the inside. So it might end up working. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, all these counters and everything, all placeholder. I'm not going to use these horse ranch counters in this house. I know that for certain. I'm not going to use the cottage living doors that I've just been plopping. It was literally like when I do placeholder furniture, I just do like the cheapest version of everything, basically. The exceptions are going to be the showers. So when I'm placing the showers, a couple of them, well, yeah, two of them, they in the floor plan it just looks like a shower stall basically, just like a shower stall that you open up a door and walk into. But we don't have a shower that looks like that. A lot of the shower stalls are a very specific style in this game, or they're corner showers, and a corner shower isn't going to work for the layout of these houses. This house. And so I ended up doing the like freestanding wall shower from university, which is it's like my favorite shower. It's so useful because then I can kind of go in and build like a custom shower stall. So that is my plan for the downstairs bathroom and then one of the upstairs bathrooms, just to make it sort of fit with the floor plan. And yeah, I ended up placing these as my like placeholder double doors. I'm not sure why the mudroom has a double door, but it does. And that door there, that single door that goes out onto that platform, that's what would be a garage door, but is going to be a door to a patio for me. So not sure how I'm gonna end up doing that, but we'll make it work. It'll be fine. This is the room that is either gonna be a bedroom or an office. Not really sure yet. Probably an office, just because I think I do have enough bedrooms otherwise. And that was the room that was causing me a lot of trouble as far as adjusting the walls went, just because of the way that it's shaped. And yeah, like I said, I did fix it, but you'll see at one point I like collapse all the walls and I accidentally make it a square, and it really doesn't look right. But I didn't notice at the time that I was doing it because I was just so like frazzled trying to get the game to cooperate. And I was also on the phone with my girlfriend, which usually, it's not a problem. I get on the phone with her while I'm building or I'm making Sims. Obviously not while I'm doing like a Let's Play or anything, but if I'm just like hanging out in Create a Sim or building, it's fine. But it sometimes does mean that my builds take a little bit longer because it's like I am kind of trying to like use two different tracks of my brain at once where I'm like trying to like have a conversation and build at the same time. And like, again, I don't like to blame my autism for everything, but sometimes it's like definitely that. And my like spatial reasoning isn't great. And because The Sims is like such a special interest of mine, I will find myself in real life like looking at spaces and like measuring in my head how many like build tiles it would be. And that does mean that sometimes, it translates with these floor plans really easily and it's just fine. Other times I'm looking at these floor plans and they don't make any sense to me. And this was one of those ones that I was like struggling with really bad, and having a conversation and also trying to use my like, again, limited spatial reasoning at the same time. There's a reason that this took me so long, you know what I mean? On top of all of the like technical issues that I was dealing with also. And yeah, I am gonna end up keeping the loft space that's in that floor plan for the upstairs hallway area. It doesn't really look very good at the moment. I'm definitely gonna have to tweak it some more just to make it make sense visually. But I do intend on keeping it, sort of because the house that I built for Heather Beth and oh my gosh, what's her name? Lindsay. That house has a loft space, and I really love that loft space. I think it's super cute, and it really works for the style of the house. And I think if I'm building this house with a similar architectural vibe, this house has to have a loft too, even though they are kind of a pain to build. And they're even more of a pain when your game doesn't want to cooperate. But I'll figure it out. I'm going to strong arm it and make it work for me. And yeah, here these showers, they're just going to be like a shower tub combination, this one and one of the other upstairs ones. And those are obviously super easy. I don't have to do anything custom for those. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use, just again, stylistically. I don't think I'm going to use these clawfoot ones, but they're the cheapest, so that's what we're doing. Here is a master bathroom, and I placed everything and I was like, wait, this is so big. And again, I had to do more shrinking just because it is so massive. And I had to deal again with the fact that there were some rooms that were registering themselves as rooms and some that just weren't. I don't know why. I'm sure one of you guys knows more about this than I do. I am not, by any stretch, an expert on the Sims build mode. I'm just here for a good time, you know? And so if you know off the top of your head why some of my rooms were registering as rooms and some weren't, please let me know. Because I'm curious, and it would be great if I could avoid this problem in the future because it really stressed me out and it made my building experience so much more difficult than it needed to be, you know? Yeah, so this room too at the end, this I'm intending on it being a bedroom as well. I need to like close it off. I fixed it in the video, and then earlier today when I was going back and fixing things, I accidentally exposed it again, so it's like open at the end of the hallway like that. It's not supposed to be that way. There's supposed to be doors there. But that is going to be a bedroom, and then we'll have we'll have one bedroom there in the middle of the hallway, the master bedroom on the very end, and then a fourth bedroom that is in the like far corner of the upper floor. And I'm not sure which bedroom is going to belong to who. I'm kind of not letting myself worry about it until I'm at the point where I'm actually decorating things, because that's kind of when it matters, stylistically and all that. I am thinking I'll probably put Owen in the downstairs bedroom, but I also kind of am thinking maybe I'll put DJ down there. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out. I think ultimately the thing that's going to decide it is like what like wallpapers and like bedspreads and stuff that I have available to me. And that is going to help determine what goes where and who goes where. And I'm pretty sure my DJ has the animal enthusiast trait, and so I'm like debating whether or not I want to have like chickens in my backyard. I don't know. All right, that is all that I have, and yeah, I'm not sure when I'll be finished with this because it is so massive, but maybe I'll update it next week. I have no idea what I'm doing next week because I'm going to be out of town. We'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Give me a like if you liked it. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram if you so choose. Subscribe to me here. Subscribe to me on my essay channel. And I will see you guys next week, probably. Bye!